You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
It's hard to find black talent in tech for the recruiters in their mind. We're going to make it easier for them because we're putting more people on and we're getting them trained up and they're going to kill it. But they're really looking for us. So when I bring in all this black talent to my tech company, they're loving it. They're like, shoot, we're going to hit our diversity quota. Just messing with Jarrett. And plus, like, they see, you know, the people I bring in, they're like, it's hard not to take them unless they suck. But you know, that white guilt be kicking in and they'd be like you know what, let's go ahead and give this person a chance. And so like we got to do more of that at these conferences. Like you should, if you can refer people into your company, you should be like, I want to make $20,000 at this event by referring in like 20 people and 5 of them get hired.
Y'all already know one of the number one things that I talk about is networking, the power of networking. Everyone already knows the saying, your network is your net worth. But honestly, I don't believe that there's an industry where that's of greater relevance than this space, the tech industry. So I have a guest that's on today who I do not know anyone in this industry that has a larger network than he does. He's been a valuable resource to me. He's been a bit of a big brother to me in this space, introducing me to people of great value, really giving me wonderful, wonderful insights. So I'm extremely happy to have him on here on the podcast. I kind of view him as me if I was in this industry for another 10 or 15 years in terms of like knowledge and connections. So that's really how I see him. So if y'all find a lot of value from me, I know y'all are going to find an immense amount of value from my guest today, Jarrett, who's on here, also the founder of Big Tech Energy Podcast. So I was gonna kind of give a bio to y'all, but I kind of feel like that gives a little bit of his bio. Just a couple other things that he has been in this industry for well over 15 years. He has sold, working in tech sales, has been a part of projects selling over $40 million worth of deals, which is crazy to think about. That's like really crazy. Again, even me being a sales engineer, all the projects I've been a part of, I haven't done anything so far over 1.5 million, just to give y'all a perspective as to what we're talking about. So y'all give a virtual round of applause, put the clapping emojis, the explosion emojis in the comments for our guest today, Jarrett. Thank you so much for coming on here, dude. Like, obviously everything I said is legit. It's really been a blessing. Knowing you, getting to know you, and it's always value whenever like I'm around you and you're connecting me, you introduce me to people, and I appreciate that and don't take that lightly at all.
Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, man. So
good to be here.
So let's go ahead and jump into it, bro. So one of the things, it was interesting. I don't think I ever asked you this for real. Mm-hmm. It's like, but like, what was your journey like getting into the tech industry? Like, when was that, first and foremost? And also, like, what was your journey like getting into the industry? And just what are some of the things, just to give people perspective? Again, we rattled off some of your accomplishments, but what are some of the things you've done and experienced in the industry?
So honestly, it was God luck in the sense that my senior year of college, I was at a career expo. I ran to IBM's booth, and I didn't think about tech as a career, because I had sales experience in college and I was a finance major minor in marketing. So I was looking at like selling Bloomberg terminals or selling whatever, insurance, anything that I can combine my business degree with sales, where I can make multiple six figures, because that's why I love sales, uncapped commission, make your own W-2. But when I ran to IBM and I told them about my experience, they invited me to a diversity hiring summit. And once I found out, that you can actually use your business acumen in tech and make a ton of money, I was like, I got to get this job.
Yeah.
So I think I told you the story. They flew me out to New York City because that's where I got my first job.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a huge Apprentice fan. They pulled me up right in front of the Trump building where like the people that get fired walk out. And I was like 23 years old. I was like, I got to get this job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I got in there. I asked for the position that I was not supposed to get because it's a 3 to 5 year work experience MBA hired role. But I convinced them that like, yo, there's nobody's going to work harder than me. At least give me the chance to interview. I would love for them just to get to know me. I asked for the job, got the job. It's a little longer story than that, but I want to keep it short for that sake. But I was lucky enough to have an enterprise sales role at 23 years old.
Whoa, so you jumped into, so you didn't just get into the industry. And for those of y'all that have been watching the content, y'all should know what that means. But just to give a little insight, you know, usually when we're talking about tech sales, usually you start in either like VSB or SMB, which is VSB is very small business, SMB is small to medium sized business. Then if you've been doing your job, typically depending like the kind of parallel route that you go is or upward trajectory is then you go to mid market, and then after some time, usually a couple years or a few years, you go to enterprise. But you started out at enterprise.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So they didn't give me enterprise money, just to be clear.
Yeah.
They gave me college graduate money, but they gave me the opportunity to learn, you know, from the best and some of the best strategies in terms of how to sell, you know, software, how to be a consultative salesperson. And the resources were crazy. You know, I had a green corporate card that I definitely took advantage of at my young age in ethical ways to help drive business.
Only in ethical ways to drive business.
Yes. But yeah, I basically got a mentor as soon as I got there. Like the key to my success when I got in there is I said, who's the top salesperson on our team? And I took him out to lunch and I said, look, what is it that you did to get to where you're at? And he broke down the game, which I could talk about, but he broke down the game and I applied it and ended up hitting like President's Club and started getting into six figures around 24, 25.
Bro, one of the things I admire about you, and I only share this because I hope like everybody listening and watching gleans from this as well. One of the things I've noticed about you is that even in all of your experience, your knowledge now, like whenever I see you, like you're either like giving value to people and or like you are still like when you see value in someone, even if they have less experience than you or whatever it might be, you are still a student. You will still be like, yo, you'll ask questions. Like literally right before you came in here, we're speaking to another guest and I saw you ask him, be like, yo, like just openly asking him like, yo, how do you do that? Like, what's up with that? And it's like, man, that's such a gift that I think once people reach a certain level and a certain level of experience, like, I'm not going to ask the questions. I'm not going to say, but it's like, man, you just really like walk in such a level of humility. And I wonder, and I guess you can kind of answer this, like, do you believe that that's been part of the reason why you've been able to make such great connections?
Absolutely. Because at conferences, I lead with, so how can I, add value? How can I help you out? Like, what can I support you? Or like, where can I support? And that usually separates me from all of the people at networking events that are like trying to figure out what can I get from somebody, et cetera. But I think like if you add value to enough people, you will make a ton of money. That's just how I look at it. Yeah. And in the whole like sales game, the more questions you ask and the more the person is talking, the more you're selling. And it's not necessarily a selling tactic, but they trust me because I am genuinely interested in their problems and I'm getting the information to be able to fix or solve that problem. Yeah. And so I think the more you listen, the more people trust you, but don't just use that as like some sort of, tactic. Genuinely listen to understand like, oh, Cyrus is looking for this. I know somebody. Yeah. And if you're somebody that adds value and I connect you to somebody that can add value to you and they can get value from you, we're all getting value. My stock's going up. You're making money. They're making money. I'm making money. Yeah. And that's been the key to me growing my network. It's just always thinking in the back of my head, like, how can I put two people together, create win-wins that will ultimately be a win for me too, because they'll credit me for the connection, or I can get a referral fee, whatever the case is. But in terms of asking questions though, that's just really me just wanting to gain insight into how I can like, for instance, I asked him, he said speaking engagements. I'm like,
Yeah.
you getting paid? He's like, yeah. I'm like, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I get paid to do speaking engagements, but I can always get better.
Yeah.
You know, and there might be people that he's not on in terms of platforms to speak on that I can put him on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's platforms that he's on that he can put me on. So it's all about figuring out ways to create win-wins.
Yo, if y'all ever see Jarrett at a conference, at an event, whatever, just get around him. Like literally just hover around him and watch what he does. Because I'm gonna be real with you. So I'm about to start doing more speaking engagements. Literally just brought someone on the team because all of the speaking stuff I've done so far have been people reaching out to me. But we're like, okay, I just brought someone on recently where part of their job is to do a lot of just a crap ton of outreach in terms of being like, hey, you know, you should bring Cyrus on to speak at your event, your church, whatever it might be. And my whole thing was, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna have to charge anyone because, you know, I'm good right now. I don't need any charging. I just really want to kind of get my brand further out there and educate more people.
Right.
But when you ask him, and again, this is why I say like be around him. When you ask him that question, and he was like, yeah, I'm being paid. Like, yeah, you get paid. I started thinking, I was like, well, I guess I could. I don't necessarily have to like ask for a bunch of money, but I'm like, I could get paid while I'm doing it. So even that was a moment of me being like, man, I'm happy Jarrett is here. And I'm happy Jarrett asked him that because that was an educational moment for me as well. Kind of like a reality check.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you and I, we're around like wildly successful people all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm always just trying to just understand, you know, how they get there, and I'm happy to help them get there too. So yeah, asking questions has been a big thing, and it's a big part of my, you know, success in sales. Like why I was able to close 40 million is because I asked the right questions to get the information, and then once I had the information, and the information I really needed is like the pain they're going through.
Yeah.
Like, you know, how much does this pain cause you? How expensive is it? Whatever the case is,
Yeah.
you know, and what are your goals for yourself as a human being? And once I know that, I kind of remind them in every email. I start off every meeting with it. So they understand, like, I understand the objective and we're going to get you to the place you want to get to.
Yeah.
And then more importantly, and this is the main thing if you're in enterprise software sales. Number one, actually care about the people you're selling to. Care about your teammates, care about your management. If you do that, you'll actually do well. Don't be just like, I'm going to tell the customer anything to get the deal.
Yeah.
Because then the implementation team gets handed it and it's a freaking struggle.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like, why'd you tell them that we could do this? We can't do this.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, why'd you tell me that this thing I spent $250,000 on is actually going to do something? And then management's upset at me because now this big brand, like say Target, now looks at our software company as a scam, as you know, snake oil, and it just doesn't do you any favors. So why, you ask like, why has my network expanded so much, or what's been the key to my success? It's under promising, over delivering. So if I tell a company, hey, we're gonna increase your revenue 2x once this software's implemented, and this is how, in my mind I know we can do 3x.
Yeah.
Or if I say we're gonna implement something in 10 weeks, I know in my mind we can do it in 7. You know what I'm saying? So like once we actually implement it in 7 and then we overachieve on the metrics, they're excited to run around the organization bragging about the decision to buy with me.
Yeah, that's true. They're like, hey, I'm the person that told y'all we should go with this company.
Right. Like, look how smart I am, which helps them in their career trajectory.
Yeah.
And then it also, helps me grow the software contract because they're taking me to the VP of the East, the VP of the West. They're taking me the head of EMEA. They're taking me straight to the CRO if I haven't gotten there yet, which I usually get there. Yeah. And so that's been a huge key. And then same thing with management. There's a thing called forecasting in sales. I always under committed and over delivered, you know what I'm saying, in a very strategic way. And then when it comes to my teammates, last thing I'll say is when I close like a big ass deal, like a $500,000 deal, the company obviously wants to put me on a pedestal and celebrate me. Like, oh my God, he closed Walmart, or whatever the case is. But what I always do is I'll be like, a long response email to that email blast that goes out to the company about like, Jarrett did such an amazing job. I'd be like, this wouldn't have been possible without my SDR that scheduled that call. It wouldn't have been possible without my sales engineer that did an amazing demos, that helped me with the RFP, that helped me get through the security review. It wouldn't have been possible without the legal team. We had a really tough red lines, and they helped me get it done. My manager for negotiating pricing with the executive teams of the decision makers. And I just list off everybody, right? And so what happens is this. Now when SDRs are making calls, who do you think they're going to call for more? Me. Yeah. When sales engineers have to do a custom demo, who they think are going to actually put like the creativity into it and actually razzle dazzle and all that? Yeah, they will. Yeah. They're going to respond to my RFPs first. The legal team's going to prioritize my contracts. Yes. And it's just like, I don't do it just for that. Yeah. I do because I just want to see everybody that helps me win and get acknowledged. But it's just, that's the mentality that I try to get across in my podcast, Big Tech Energy, because it's not just about getting into tech, it's about having a long career and having like sustainability and relationships, because relationships are everything. Because what happens then too, SDR goes and gets a job somewhere else. They ask, do you know an enterprise software salesperson that we should bring in? They say, Jarrett, sales engineer. Look, everybody, go to Jarrett. Yeah, I'm coming in now. I have the leverage to be like, oh, you guys have a 140 base. Actually, I probably need like 150, 160. Yes, and they're like, dang, so and so said he's really, really good. Yes. Plus whatever. All right, you got it. So that's been the key, pretty much.
Hey, y'all, we have some incredible news that I'm super excited about to finally announce our private tech community. Yes, you heard that right. A private tech community exclusively for you all who want more than just a podcast. You want more than just the FAQs. You want to talk with tech recruiters. You want to talk with hiring managers. You want to talk with coaches. You want to talk with people that can help with editing and rewriting your resume. Maybe you're somebody where you just want to be a part of a community where we're talking about updates of what's happening in the software industry. Y'all, this community that we've launched is also going to involve a Discord where we're going to be talking about updates in tech. We're going to be talking about companies that are hiring. We're going to be talking about upcoming tech events. So that way you don't have to miss any of the gems that I know, but not even just what I know, but the gems that friends of mine that are also in the tech industry know as well. So if you want to be a part of that community, go ahead and sign up so that way you can join us. We have a few different tiers. Ultimately, it's all tuned in for you. Oh, and last thing, also within this community, we're going to be streaming all of our interviews with our podcast guests. So instead of you having to wait months to watch the videos later on, you'll actually be able to watch the interviews in real time and ask your live questions to those guests. So make sure you join our tech community. Man, this man is the Adam Sandler. He said, he's like, I'm putting all my people on. If I get a shout out, I'm gonna make sure I loop in my sales engineer, my SDR. I'm gonna loop in everybody who are a part of this deal and opportunity. Man, that's so beautiful and smart. Just because I understood it from the perspective when you mentioned the notion of caring about your customer's pain, but you have more of a holistic view where you're like, I care about my customer's pain, but also care about the pain points or the notoriety. Because as a solution, I'm no longer a solutions engineer now, but I know with being a solutions engineer or sales engineer, one of the things that I saw a lot is that we were like a team that was almost like not recognized often. And it was really strange. And it's like I saw many times our management trying to fight for us to get more recognition. And so hearing you, and mind you, our account executives, they knew like the value that we brought. So they would like on the side be like, yo, thank you. I couldn't close it without you. But it was like, okay, well, y'all are saying this in private, but in public, y'all are getting the accolades.
Yeah, and they're like, me, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, we're not really getting like much love. And so hearing you do that, I could resonate with that. And it's like, so it's really dope how you, like with every deal, you didn't just care about the customer's pain point or the prospect's pain point. You cared about even the team that was supporting and helping you out. You cared about their pain and cared about their recognition. And so it makes sense how not only were you able to be like very successful with your deals and your close rate, but also how you were able to constantly be able to feed and give back to those that you were working with to where they cared about you and found a lot of value in you. One of the things I love that you touched on, if you can speak to it just a little bit, is how, because one of the things I know that people are kind of like cautious about when it comes to tech sales is a notion of like, oh man, I don't want to be salesy. And I love how you mentioned how you're like, no, like something you mentioned earlier where you're like, whenever they address a pain point, you ask them, how much is this costing you? And it's like more often than not, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, more often than not, the solution that you provide typically saves them way more money that they're losing, or is going to help them make significantly more money. Like,
Right.
so what are some ways, like just some ways that like a solution, and I kind of speak to this on a high level, a solution that a tech salesperson can provide actually benefits companies to where they will be going crazy to actually buy the solution or go into contract?
Yeah. So it's all about, you're really a business consultant.
Yeah.
You know, as a software salesperson. So you don't look at it as selling, you're more so consulting. So you're like, you understand kind of the industry problems of your customer, or at least you need to be able to do that research, you know, read their 10K, kind of read up on the current events surrounding the organization. But more importantly, you're trying to figure out what other customers have we had that have seen increase in revenue, decrease in cost, decrease in compliance issues, et cetera, that's going to resonate with, that will resonate to a specific business. And so asking the questions in terms of like, how much does the problem cost you, creates a business case. And that's what software sales is. You're, you know, identifying a problem, giving a solution, but the way to get the budget is through a business case. So like, for instance, I sold treasury management systems at this company called Kyriba, basically taking all of the manual type of work they would do when it comes to payments, you know, direct receivables, you know, accounts payable, stuff like that. It was all manual. So the problems were, there could be mistakes because it's manual, and then it takes a lot of time. So what we would do, like the mistakes could, you know, end up in jail time for the CFO. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like it's that important, as well as it can financially just impact them in different ways. Like, so if you know, have incorrect numbers or incorrect this, what does that impact to your board of directors? How does that impact, et cetera?
Yeah.
It could hurt them a lot, not only just money wise, but career wise, which is kind of what I'm selling to with decision makers as well. Man. And then I'm also talking about the time saved. That's a big part of software solutions, is time saved for employees, but also accuracy. So time saved, accuracy, each company is going to be different, but ultimately, if it's $100,000 in cost savings, or like I had a solution with ClearSlide, sales engagement platform, where you can see when a prospect clicks open your material and it gives them alert, and then you can see how long they looked at it, et cetera. And that was a huge thing for salespeople to know, like, all right, out of these 10 deals, these 3 have opened up my contract, these 7 haven't, forecasting, et cetera. So it's just like, all right, if we can bring in deals faster, you know, what do you think that would look like in terms of, you know, revenue generated per quarter, or time saved by not messing with customers that aren't actually messing with you? Yes. So I could keep going through a lot of them, but ultimately, if you look at software sales, you're a consultant, find the problem, show them the solution. The best way to show them solution is through case studies of other customers that have gone through the same pain, and then quantify the business value, ROI, through a business value assessment. And then once they see like software costs $250,000, its potential $500,000 revenue increase, it makes the decision easy. So you don't have to really sell, but you got to ask the right questions to qualify. Do they have the budget? Am I talking to a decision maker? What is their process? What's their timeline? And are they looking at anybody else? Once I understand that, then I know who I need to focus on and how I can drive the deal forward. Okay.
So networking.
Yeah.
For those that are, so, okay, I'm new to the industry. So anybody in the audience that's new to the industry, whether they just got in tech or they're working to get into the industry, what are some, like, what should they do when they show up at a tech networking event? You know, I'll be at Render. I think we'll both be at Render ATL next week. Shouts out to them. So someone goes to Render ATL or Afrotech or ByteCon or any of the many other blackmenintech, many other different tech events that are going on. What are some tips and advice you would give for networking at a tech event?
Yeah, that's a good question. Number one, like, be yourself. You know, don't try to like be pressed. Just, you know, be yourself, be chill. But my first thing I always ask people is like, beyond, you know, what do you do, is like, how can I add value to what you're doing?
Yeah.
Whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then genuinely be interested in it. Don't ask the question just to win points. Like, be genuinely interested in it. And if there is a way you can add value, then figure that out first. But from there, for me, just make the LinkedIn connections. Like every person you meet at Afrotech while you're doing the electric slide, to before I let go or whatever, make that LinkedIn connection and just let them know like, hey, like for instance, if you're trying to network your way into tech, let's just talk about that, right? Because that might be relevant to the audience. If you're trying to network your way into tech, you just let them know like, hey, I'm looking to land a role as a software engineer, got 5 to 7 years experience, etc. Do you get paid for referrals that you bring to the company?
Ooh,
a lot of people don't know about that.
Never thought about that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. And so like, do you get referrals? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, well, you should look into it. My company does, Microsoft does, just name off a couple that do.
Yeah, the companies I worked at, they did that.
They do, right? And so like, but they don't think about that. So now I'm top of mind because I brought it up. I brought value just there. Yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. Well, if you do get money for referring, I'm going to be the easiest $3,000 referral you ever had.
Yeah.
So I'm going to connect you on LinkedIn. In a couple of days, I'm going to send you my resume. I'm going to send you the job rec, and I'm going to, connect with you on LinkedIn. We're connected on LinkedIn, so they already got that. And just
do y'all see how the way he approached it was like, how can I add? Again, it's him adding value. So instead of him being like, yo, is your company hiring? I would love a job. Can you help me out?
Yeah.
He approached with some, and even if the person doesn't care about that, just for them to see, oh, you approached me with an opportunity for me. Yeah. Oh, that's so crazy. I'm sorry, I cut you off, but that just hit me. I'm like, yo, that's, again, tying back into, like, just your mindset.
Yeah. Because, shoot, I made a ton of money referring people into my organizations, Black people, too, because you got to understand, too, like, it's hard to find Black talent in tech for the recruiters in their mind. We're going to make it easier for them because we're putting more people on and we're getting them trained up and they're going to kill it. But they're really looking for us. Yeah. So when I bring in all this Black talent to my tech company, they're loving it. They're like, shoot, we're going to hit our diversity quota. Yeah. Just messing with Jarrett. And plus, like, they see, the people I bring in, they're like, it's hard not to take them unless they suck. Yeah. But, that white guilt be kicking in and they'd be like, you know what, let's go ahead and give this person a chance. And so like, we got to do more of that at these conferences. Like you should, if you can refer people into your company, you should be like, I want to make $20,000 at this event by referring in like 20 people and 5 of them get hired. You know what I'm saying? So like, are you looking to break in somewhere? Send the resume to me, I'll submit it. Like that's how you should be thinking at these conferences. And as somebody that's looking for a job, you should be like, how many people can I at least offer to get them paid on referral, and then make it super easy for them to, get me on by having my resume customized to the role. My LinkedIn is popping, and they don't have to do any work. They just say, all right, take the file, submit it into the internal system. Now you're skipping the applicant tracking system, all the hundreds of people applying. Yes. You're skipping them. You're going straight to the hiring manager, and you have an asterisk next to your name saying Cyrus Harbin, who we respect, recommends this person. That's the reason a lot of you are getting passed over jobs, because there's somebody that's being referred that you're competing against. Dang. And you're kind of in a fixed fight. You know what I'm saying? So like, ooh. Yeah. So like, you asked about network too, during the pandemic, I hopped on an app called Clubhouse, started talking about tech, and I just like blew up on there because I was talking this type of stuff in a very authentic way. Plus I would highlight other roles because not everybody cares about tech sales. Yeah. So I have a software engineer, data scientist, AI, whoever on stage. But ultimately the way that, that platform got popping for us is I used the referral network. I said, hey, if you're in the audience, you can refer people into the organization, come on stage and tell people where you work, how to reach out to you, and what kind of roles they're paying for right now. And we got 200 plus people jobs in tech just by doing that. Plus we had recruiters and hiring managers on stage, but then we threw in employees that wanted to get that referral money, and we were all eating. Everybody, Black people getting jobs, Black people getting referral commission, or recruiters are getting diverse talent. Everybody's winning. And that's the key. Man, if you want to increase your network, always have a value first, win-win mindset. If you do that, people will be talking about you in rooms you're not in. They'll be recommending you for positions and opportunities. And Yeah, if they're have the right mindset. There's some people that are just going to take from you. It's part of the game, right? But ultimately, you'll find people that have success because they know how to bring value to those that give value to them. Yeah. And be value first. Don't hit people up like I want to pick your brain. That sounds painful. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for real.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah.
Yo, for everybody who is listening and you're thinking that you're interested in a career in tech sales, I suggest you check out Course Careers. Course Careers is a tech boot camp that you can do entirely from home. It's entirely virtual and it's self-paced. So that means you can knock it out in as early as 2 weeks or even take a few months if you need to. Now, the really cool thing about Course Careers is that they're actually partnered with multiple tech companies that are hiring their students right after finishing the program. The great thing about Course Careers is that with those partnerships, they're able to guarantee you jobs with some of their partner companies. Now, beyond that alone, the other cool thing we want to tell you about them is that Course Careers is actually only $500. That's it, nothing more, nothing less. But since we partner with Course Careers, they're offering our audience a discount of $50 off that already low price. So make sure you use our discount link that we have below. So that way you can take advantage of that $50 off that already low price. Do Course Careers at your own pace and let us know what job you end up getting from it. You know, it's so funny because I've, and I don't want this to come off arrogant or weird or nothing, but like, I've rarely met anyone that I feel like kind of is willing to like offer people more value than myself. I've always kind of been the type where I'm like, okay, give somebody twice as much love so I can get like at least half of that back. Yeah. And that's always been my mentality where I'm like, I don't necessarily expect people to match anything I give them. I just expect them to at least do 50% of what I'm doing. And so, but you are the only person where I'm like, yo, I cannot keep up with the level of like generosity you give back to me. So literally interviewing you right now, it all makes sense. I'm like, it's all connected. It all makes sense now with it. Bro, so all right, man. So let's talk about what you've been doing recently, which is Big Tech Energy Podcast. First off, crazy name. When before you told me the name, you told me I can't share the name yet because the name is kind of, and I was like, yeah, the name is super amazing. But no, when you told me that, he said Big Tech Energy, I was like, dang, that name is fire. Yeah. That name is fire. So, bro, tell people about Big Tech Energy Podcast, what it is and like what you're doing, what the goal is with it.
Yeah, so Big Tech Energy Podcast is highlighting Black excellence in tech. 6, 7, 8-figure earners in tech, whether you're startup founders or recruiters, hiring managers, or just killing it as an employee. Yeah. Because like tech sales, a lot of my colleagues have made 7 figures W-2s. And so like interviewing people like that and saying like, what makes you different than everybody else to get to that point? You know, because I was only doing like $500,000, these doing $1 million plus. I'm like, what are you doing that's differently? Or like Ruben Harris from Career Karma, how'd you raise $52 million?
Oh yeah. I was talking to Ruben in Miami recently, and when he was telling me some of the stuff that Career Karma that they're doing and some of the deals they're getting, I felt so small in his presence. I was like, bro, I was so humbled. I was like, God, that's crazy.
And that's what keeps me humble, man. Like I'm around like millionaires and billionaires. Yeah. So like, I'm doing well, but like I could be doing more, but also I want to help others do more as well. Yeah. So the point of Big Tech Energy is I feel like it's going to like document and archive, similar to what you're doing, some Black excellence in tech and some amazing people that I want to highlight in my network. But also they're giving game on how to get there. Like what are the resources, the certifications, the courses, the apprenticeships, et cetera, that can get you to where they're at. But more importantly, I'm trying to get the gems of how do you, once you get in there, crush it and have a long sustaining career. Yeah. Because a lot of times there's like very little substance in some of these, like you have a lot of substance. That's why I'm here. But like sometimes there's a little substance in terms of, you know, tech is just like, get this money. Yeah. But it's more than getting money. It's like really bringing value to the organization. Because if you do that, you'll be cool when the layoffs happen. Yes. You know what I'm saying? So Big Tech Energy is about the energy that people have that made them incredibly successful, deal with adversity, how they think about relationships, how they solve problems, what books do they read, how do they think about work-life balance, how do they stay authentically themselves in situations where you might have imposter syndrome? What gave them that confidence? So that's what I'm trying to take out of people. And I have some really dope guests. I have 8 episodes out so far. I got like 25 I've filmed. and I'm just gonna put it out consistently, and one day it'll be as big as your podcast. So yeah.
Now you're gonna pass us. We'll be trying to keep up with y'all.
Yeah, big tech energy,
man. Y'all definitely tap in with big tech energy. I have an episode that's on there, and we're gonna be doing an interview in the future for some AI stuff that we're working on our end that y'all are gonna see about. Maybe by the time this episode drops, y'all already know about it, but we will see on that. Yeah, bro. No, man, I definitely love what it is that you're doing with big tech energy, and I love you focusing on helping people like realize, like you touch on those other components. Cause yeah, we talk a lot about with Tech is the New Black, breaking in tech, scaling in tech, starting your own tech business. But one of the things we notice, okay, a lot of our audience people breaking in the industry, and it's like, man, you touching on the component of, hey, what to do to actually truly scale and be hyper successful. And you interviewing people that you mentioned are those 6, 7, 8 figure earners doing some big things. I love that y'all are doing that. So last question. So what do you think are some of the best ways for people to break into tech and network in tech, whether just through natural advice that you have, or then maybe even using or leveraging AI?
Yeah, so when it comes to AI, you can definitely put your resume into like a ChatGPT and then say, like, as a career coach, can you customize this resume to fit this specific job description? Then you throw in the job description, and then it spits out your resume to fit that, and it'll also give you some like more metrics focused things to include in your resume. Or like ChatGPT, this resume, can you give me some what's called recommendations as a career coach? As a career coach is important because it's going to do it with a little more sauce, that will emphasize results more, or whatever the case is. Yeah. Like ChatGPT, definitely for customizing resume. My guy onesalting.ai, I sent you his thing. Yeah, check that out. But in terms of networking your way in, go to every Black Tech conference, in my opinion, because you already have a rapport because you're Black, I'm Black, and you're in tech, or you're trying to get into tech, you're there. What I love about the Black Tech conferences is there's like very little ego. It's not very that pretentious. When you go to the club and everybody's trying to like figure you out, like, is this person cool?
Oh,
Are they
yeah.
not? Like, I don't get that energy at tech conferences.
No, I haven't either.
Yeah, so like everybody's pretty down to earth, whether they're the head of product at Google or they're an intern at Microsoft. Like, everybody's cool. And utilize the technique that I said, referrals. Do you get paid for referrals? I'll be the easiest money you've ever made. Yeah. With that confidence, and then connect with them on LinkedIn, send them everything in a bow. Super easy for them to put in there, and they don't have to do much. It takes them 30 seconds, and that's going to help you get in fast. Also, definitely get into, in my opinion, boot camps that have a track record of success. Yes. Where people look at it on your resume and say, okay, that's going to be less work for me. They're already trained up about halfway versus the other person that I'm interviewing that's like starting brand new. Yes. They don't know nothing. Utilize the graduates of the boot camp too that broke in. Like, do you get referred money?
Yes. Oh.
You know what I mean? So like, you talk about course careers. I rock with course careers because it's the most affordable way to break into tech and all that jazz. So yeah, you can search course careers on LinkedIn. You're going to see all of the graduates and be like, yo, are they hiring?
That's smart. And yet, so what's crazy is that usually I tell people, usually whenever I'm on IG Live or something, and I'm interviewing someone who's done a boot camp or they did course careers or another boot camp, I will typically tell the person on the live to not say the company they work for, because I'm like, yo, I don't want a bunch of people flooding your company and like lying and saying that you're a referral. But in reality, that probably would be a better opportunity to tell them like, hey, like if your company does referrals, so I can ask them ahead of time, like, hey, does your company do referrals? Okay, cool. Boom. So if you're comfortable mentioning your company, tell people to reach out to you and they use your referral. Man, that's crazy. That could really just help people that are on live. They've just gotten tech to where they can get like a $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 check from their company just from them referring somebody after they get in. That's dope.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say about referrals, people might ask like, why are they going to give you $3,000 to $5,000 to refer somebody into the organization? Because they have to hire a staffing firm that charges 20% of the first year's salary.
Woo,
typically.
I didn't know they charge that much.
Yeah. So staffing is a very lucrative game. And so like if I get hired for $100,000, the staffing firm's getting at least 15, maybe maybe 20,000. So it's way cheaper to have somebody from your network and pay you 3,000 to 5,000.
Yes.
So it's not like some sort of fairy tale. This is real.
Yeah.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/PODKATZ12. Just go to Indeed.com/PODKATZ12 right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.